I spent my entire life caring for others in hospitals, yet my own daughter cared for my trust fund faster than any emergency room visit I'd ever witnessed. $15 million vanished in 4 electronic signatures and 1 insider call from a relationship manager at Harborlight Trust. 2 months later, she knelt outside my Portland home, sobbing and begging for a favor I'll never forget. That night, I set the trap, and when the handcuffs clicked at 8 sharp, I'd already chosen motherhood or justice. My name is Margaret O'Connell Maggie to everyone except the IRS and my former board of directors. At 58, I thought I'd seen every possible betrayal the healthcare industry could offer. 27 years managing Portland General's trauma unit taught me that money makes people do unconscionable things. But I never imagined the lesson would come from my own daughter. The SMS alert arrived at 11:43 p.m. on a Tuesday in March, lighting up my nightstand like a cardiac monitor gone critical. Harborlight Trust. Multiple withdrawal authorizations processed. Current balance adjustment. 418-987 $. Please contact your relationship manager. I sat up so fast, my reading glasses flew off the nightstand. My fingers trembled as I opened the banking app, the one Lauren had helped me secure with new biometric authentication just 3 weeks earlier. "Mum, you need better protection," she'd said, her manicured fingers flying across my iPad. "Identity theft is everywhere these days." The app wouldn't recognize my face or my fingerprint. The password I'd used for 5 years suddenly didn't exist. I called the 24-hour hotline, my voice steady despite the earthquake in my chest. "This is Margaret O'Connell, account holder for Trust 788834. I'm showing you're already on a call with us, Ms. O'Connell," the representative interrupted. "Your authorized representative, Lauren Pierce, is currently processing approved transfers, per the dual authentication protocol you established." "I never authorized any dual protocol. Ma'am, I have your e-signature here from February 28th at 2:17 p.m., notarized digitally through DocuSign. Your relationship manager, Bradley Hutchins, personally verified. Bradley Hutchins, the wealth advisor my son-in-law Tyler's father had introduced at that awkward dinner in January. Gregory Hale, construction mogul and master manipulator, had insisted Bradley could optimize my portfolio for maximum family benefit. I threw on clothes and drove to the downtown Portland branch, arriving at 6:20 a.m. when they opened. The security guard knew me. I'd managed the hospital that saved his daughter's life. He let me wait inside while the first shift arrived. "Mrs. O'Connell." Bradley Hutchins appeared at 6:45, his salmon-colored shirt too bright for the grey Maine morning. "Lauren said you might stop by. Don't worry. Everything's been handled according to your restructuring instructions. Show me the authorizations." He pulled up documents on his tablet, angling the screen with practiced confidence. There it was, my signature, digitally perfect, authorizing the creation of special purpose vehicles for strategic family investments. Tyler Pierce was listed as managing director of each SPV. $15 million, carved up like a Thanksgiving turkey across 7 shell companies. "You verified this personally?" I kept my voice level. Clinical, the same tone I used when documenting medical negligence. "Of course you were on speaker with Lauren during the wealth management consultation. February 28th, 2:17 p. You said, and I quote from my notes, 'I trust my family to make the best decisions.' February 28th. I was in Boston that day, attending a healthcare compliance seminar with 300 witnesses. My phone had been off from 2 to 5 p. Conference rules I'd announced to Lauren the night before. I need copies of everything. I'm afraid that requires authorization from the trust's current managing signatory. Who is? His fingers tapped nervously on the tablet. As of midnight last night, that would be Mr. Tyler Pierce. Per the succession protocol, I left before I said something actionable. In the parking lot, I called my closest friend, Nora Sullivan, who'd run the ICU beside me for 15 years. I need Ava Whittaker's direct number, I said. The legal pit bull Maggie. They took it all. Nora, my daughter, her husband, his father. They took everything. Silence. Then, I'm texting you her cell. Document everything. Screenshot everything. And Maggie, don't talk to Lauren. Not one word until Ava tells you to. My phone buzzed with a text from Lauren. Mom, Dad would be so proud that you're helping Tyler's Ventures family supports family. Right. Owen's excited about his new private school. Next year. Love you. Attached was a photo of my 8-year-old grandson, gap-toothed and grinning in a lacrosse uniform I'd never seen before. The manipulation was surgical, using my dead husband's memory and my grandson as emotional anchors while they gutted my life's work. I sat in my car, watching the sunrise paint Casco Bay, silver and gold, calculating the hours of my life converted to dollars now sitting in Tyler Pierce's SPVs. Every 16-hour shift, every Christmas worked, every patient saved reduced to numbers in someone else's account. The SMS alerts kept coming. Property transfers, investment liquidations. A lifetime dismantled in algorithms and electronic signatures while Portland woke up around me. The isolation campaign started 48 hours after the theft. Lauren arrived at my door at 7 a.m. with coffee and concern creasing her forehead, an expression she'd perfected in her theatre minor at Bowdoin. Mum, I'm worried about you, she said, setting down a folder thick with medical brochures. Tyler's dad mentioned you seemed confused at the bank yesterday. Bradley said you didn't remember authorizing the transfers. I kept my face neutral. Ava Whittaker's voice echoing in my head from our call the night before. Let them think they're winning. Every word they say is evidence. I've been tired, I said carefully. That's what concerns me. Lauren pulled out glossy pamphlets for cognitive assessment centers. Dr. Morrison at Peninsula Neurology specializes in early-onset dementia. Gregory knows him from the country club he can get you in next week. Dr. Morrison. I'd Googled him after Gregory's first casual mention. 5 malpractice settlements, all sealed. A reputation for providing convenient diagnoses for families seeking conservatorships. I'll think about it. Mum, this isn't optional. Her voice hardened beneath the sympathy. The bank is concerned about your capacity. Bradley documented your confusion extensively if you don't get evaluated voluntarily. She let the threat dangle like a surgical instrument over an open wound. That afternoon, Gregory Hale himself appeared at the Portland Harbor Yacht Club, where I still held membership, a detail I'm sure he'd researched. I was having lunch with Nora when he approached our waterfront table, his silver hair gleaming like a crown of authority. Maggie, we need to discuss your situation. He pulled out a chair uninvited. Lauren's devastated that you're questioning her integrity. After everything she's done to protect your assets. Protect Nora's voice could freeze blood when needed. That's what you're calling it. Gregory's eyes narrowed. Ms. Sullivan, this is a family matter. though given Maggie's recent inconsistencies, perhaps it's good she has supervision. What inconsistencies? I asked. He produced his phone, showing a video. Security footage from a Whole Foods dated 3 days ago. A woman who looked remarkably like me was arguing with a cashier, claiming her cards had been stolen, growing increasingly agitated. The timestamp read 2:15 p. When I'd been in a documented meeting with Ava at her office across town. Deepfake technology, Nora said. Really, that's your play. Gregory smiled. Prove it. Meanwhile, concerned citizens are sharing this footage. Your former colleagues at the hospital, the medical board. Everyone's so worried about poor Maggie's declining mental state. My phone buzzed. 3 texts from former board members asking if I was okay and suggesting I take some time to focus on health. The whisper campaign was spreading like sepsis. That evening, Tyler appeared at my grocery store, not shopping, just watching from the pharmacy aisle as I selected produce. When I checked out, the clerk frowned. "Ma'am, your credit card's been declined." "Try this one," I said, handing over my backup. That's also declined. All 3 are showing fraud alerts. Tyler materialized beside me. "Mom, let me get that. You seem confused about your finances lately." He said it loud enough for the growing line to hear. "Remember, you gave me financial power of attorney." I hadn't, of course, but arguing would look like dementia-driven paranoia. I let him pay. Let him walk me to my car with his hand on my elbow like I was an invalid. "This is hard for all of us," he said. "Just cooperate with the evaluation. Once you're declared incapacitated, Lauren and I can properly manage everything. You'll be so much happier without the stress." Nora was waiting in my driveway when I got home. "Pack a bag?" she said. "You're staying with me tonight. Ava's orders." Inside her guest room, she showed me her phone. "Look what Lauren posted on Facebook an hour ago. A long, emotional post about watching her mother's cognitive decline and the family's difficult decision to seek guardianship. Comments poured in with sympathy and support. Lauren had tagged my former colleagues, ensuring maximum visibility of my supposed deterioration. "She's creating a public narrative," Nora said. "By the time you fight back, everyone will think you're a confused old woman lashing out at your loving family." My phone rang. Lauren calling for the 6th time. I let it go to voicemail. "Mom, ignoring us won't stop the evaluation. Dr. Morrison can do an emergency assessment if you're being uncooperative. It's for your own good. Tyler's already spoken to Adult Protective Services about your vulnerability to financial scams. Ironic. Right. Love you." I sat on Nora's guest bed, watching the sun set over Portland's skyline. They'd stolen my money, but that wasn't enough. They needed me silent, discredited, locked away in a narrative of mental decay. The daughter I'd raised, taught compassion and ethics through my own example, had become something unrecognizable, a predator wearing the face of family. "Tomorrow," Nora said, "we fight back. Ava has a plan." I nodded, feeling something cold and precise click into place where maternal love used to live. Ava Whitaker's office occupied the top floor of a converted shipping warehouse in Portland's Old Port District. At 9 a.m. sharp. She laid out evidence across her conference table like a surgeon preparing instruments. "They made 3 critical mistakes," she said, her voice carrying the confidence of someone who'd destroyed bigger predators than Gregory Hale. "First, the IP addresses. The DocuSign authorizations came from Lauren's home network, not yours. Second, the bank's security footage shows Bradley Hutchins accessing your account from his terminal at 11:37 p.m., 6 minutes before you received the SMS alert. He forgot banks record everything. She pulled up enhanced video on her laptop. Third, and this is beautiful, the notary who verified your e-signature. She's Gregory's paralegal's sister. She notarized documents claiming you were present in Portland while you were documented in Boston. Can we prove the deep fake? I asked. Already did. Ava smiled, sharp as a scalpel. My forensic tech found the original footage they used you shopping at that same Whole Foods 2 years ago. They just changed the date stamp and added the agitation sequence. The lighting's wrong for March, it's clearly summer sun angles. She opened a thicker folder. Now, here's what we're doing immediately. First, we're freezing what's left. I've already filed emergency injunctions on the SPVs. Tyler can't move another cent. Second, we're creating an irrevocable subtrust for Owen, funded with the $2 million still in your checking account. Neither parent can touch it. Ever. They'll claim I'm not competent to create new trusts. Which is why Dr. Sarah Martinez from Maine Medical's psychiatry department is waiting in my conference room. She's going to conduct a comprehensive cognitive evaluation right now, with 2 witnesses and video recording. We're also doing a polygraph with a former FBI examiner. By noon, we'll have ironclad documentation of your complete mental competence. The evaluation took 3 hours. Dr. Martinez was thorough cognitive tests, memory assessments, decision-making scenarios. The polygraph examiner asked about the signatures, the authorization, whether I'd ever agreed to transfer funds to Tyler's companies. Every answer confirmed what Ava already knew: I'd been defrauded by my own family. Perfect scores across all domains, Dr. Martinez announced. I'll have my report notarized and filed with the court by 3 p.m. Ava's paralegal, James, burst in. Lauren just posted again. She's claiming Mrs. O'Connell threatened her this morning. I looked at the timestamp. I've been here since 8:45 with 16 witnesses and security footage, Ava added. She's getting desperate. Good. That afternoon, we executed the subtrust for Owen at First National, with 3 bank officers as witnesses. The documents were bulletproof, even if something happened to me. Owen's future was protected from his parents' greed. Now, for the interesting part, Ava said as we returned to her office. We're not suing them yet. We're going to let them commit one more crime, a bigger one. Wire fraud across state lines, conspiracy, elder abuse with aggravating factors, FBI territory. How? They need money. Tyler's companies are hemorrhaging cash. I've seen the liens. Gregory has a $5 million judgment coming due from a construction lawsuit. They'll have to try moving the stolen funds soon, probably offshore. When they do, we'll be watching. She introduced me to Marcus Webb, a private investigator who specialized in financial crimes. I've already got surveillance on all 3 of them. Tyler's been visiting Western Union locations, asking about transfer limits. Gregory's been Googling cryptocurrency exchanges. They're planning something. My phone buzzed. A text from Owen. Grandma, why won't you talk to Mummy? She's crying all the time. Are you sick? My chest tightened. Ava saw my face. They're using him. Let me text back, I said. Just to Owen. Hi, sweetheart. Grandma's not sick. Just very busy with grown-up things. I love you so much. Be good at school. Lauren called immediately. I let Ava answer on speaker. This is Ava Whitaker, Mrs. O'Connell's attorney. All communication goes through me now. She's my mother. She can't just... She can, and she has. If you have legitimate business to discuss, put it in writing. This is insane. She's clearly being manipulated. We're filing for emergency conservatorship tomorrow. Good luck with that, Ava said. We have 3 independent psychiatric evaluations confirming Mrs. O'Connell's complete competence, plus evidence of your attempts to manufacture symptoms of dementia. We also have some interesting findings about missing funds and forged signatures. Would you like to discuss those? The line went dead. That night, I stayed at a hotel Ava had booked under her firm's name. As I lay in the unfamiliar bed, I thought about Lauren as a child, brilliant, ambitious, always wanting more than I could give. When had ambition turned to entitlement? When had love become a commodity to leverage? My phone lit up with another Facebook notification. Lauren had posted a photo of Owen crying, captioned, "When Grandma's sickness affects the innocent, praying for her recovery and return to our loving family." I screenshot it, adding to the evidence folder. Every manipulation, every lie, every attempt to destroy me, all documented, all waiting for the moment Ava would unleash them in court. The trap was set. Now we waited for them to step into it. The bait needed to be irresistible. Ava crafted it with the precision of a neurosurgeon, a medical evaluation that would give them everything they wanted while recording every crime they'd commit to get it. Tomorrow at 10, Ava explained. You'll arrive at Dr. Morrison's office for the evaluation Gregory arranged. But here's what they don't know. The Maine State Banking Commission has been investigating Harborlight Trust for 3 months. Bradley Hutchins is already under surveillance. When you walk into that office, you'll be wired, and federal investigators will be in the van outside. She handed me a pearl necklace. Micro recorder in the clasp. Battery lasts 8 hours. Marcus Webb spread surveillance photos across the table. Gregory met with Dr. Morrison 4 times this week. We've got photos of cash envelopes exchanging hands. Morrison's already prepared a competency report dated for tomorrow, declaring you severely impaired. He just needs you to show up so he can claim he examined you. What about Lauren? She'll be there, Marcus said. She's been coaching Morrison on your supposed symptoms. Yesterday, she gave him a list of behavioral incidents, all fabricated, all supposedly witnessed by her and Tyler. I studied the photos. My daughter, earnest and convincing, handing documents to a doctor willing to destroy my life for the right price. The choreography of betrayal, perfectly timed. There's more, Ava added. We had a breakthrough with the bank. A junior IT analyst named Kevin Park came forward. Bradley Hutchins promised him $50,000 to create a backdoor into your account. Kevin kept recordings of every conversation. She played an audio file. Bradley's voice, smooth as poison. Just make sure the authentication bypasses look organic. Mrs. O'Connell's daughter is helping her update security settings. That's our window. Then Lauren. My mother trusts me completely. She'll click whatever I send her. Old people and technology, right? The casual cruelty of it reducing me to a stereotype while stealing my life's work. Tomorrow's evaluation is the trigger, Ava continued. Once Morrison declares you incompetent, they'll immediately petition for emergency conservatorship. Gregory has a judge lined up, Judge William Brennan, who owes him for campaign contributions. They plan to have you declared incompetent, and transfer everything by Friday. So we let them. We let them try. The moment Morrison signs that false report, it's fraud. The moment they file it with the court, it's conspiracy. The moment they try to access the remaining funds, it's wire fraud. We'll have them on 27 state and federal charges. That night, I prepared like an actor before opening night. I practiced confused expressions in the mirror, rehearsed halting speech patterns. To sell the performance, I needed to become what they expected a declining woman. Easy prey. Marcus called at 9 p.m. Tyler just transferred $300,000 from one of the SPVs to an account in the Cayman Islands. He's testing if the freeze orders are real. Are they? Oh yes, that money's now tagged by Treasury. He just committed international wire fraud. The next morning, I dressed carefully the same outfit I'd worn to my husband's funeral, because Lauren would remember it and think I was confused about time. The pearl necklace recorder sat cool against my throat. Nora drove me to Morrison's office, playing the concerned friend. Are you sure you're ready for this? Maggie. You seem tired. I just want this over with, I said, loud enough for anyone listening. The waiting room was strategically filled. Lauren sat with practiced concern. Tyler scrolled his phone with badly hidden excitement, and Gregory commanded the space like he already owned it. Dr. Morrison emerged at 10:15, all false sympathy and professional distance. Mrs. O'Connell, so good to see you. Your family's very worried. I let my eyes drift slightly. Touched my purse twice, like I'd forgotten why I was holding it, small touches Ava's acting coach had suggested. Did we have an appointment? Lauren jumped up. Yes. Mum. Remember? We discussed this yesterday. We hadn't spoken in a week, but I nodded vaguely. The examination room had been staged for my failure. Complex forms scattered on the desk. A timer prominently displayed. Cognitive tests already marked with predicted wrong answers in pencil. Mrs. O'Connell, Morrison began. Can you tell me what year it is? 2000. I paused. Let confusion cloud my features. 24. He made a note, though the year was clearly printed on the calendar behind him. And who's the current president? I named the previous one. For 40 minutes. I gave them exactly what they'd paid for a woman sliding into darkness, unable to manage her affairs. Lauren held my hand at one point, and I felt her pulse quicken when I called her by her aunt's name. I think we have enough, Morrison finally said. Mrs. O'Connell clearly requires immediate intervention. Gregory produced documents. We've prepared conservatorship papers. Just need your signature on the medical attestation. Doctor. Morrison signed with a flourish. The moment his pen left paper, he'd committed fraud. The recorder captured Gregory's satisfied exhale. Tyler's whispered, finally, and Lauren's soft. It's for the best. Mom. They were so focused on their triumph. They didn't notice the black Suburban pulling into the parking lot, or the way the receptionist had locked the front door, or how my confusion evaporated like morning mist. You know what? I said, my voice suddenly clear. I think I'd like to review those documents before anyone files them. 2 days after the staged evaluation, Lauren stood at my door in the rain. It was 11:45 p. And she wasn't alone. Owen huddled beside her, pajamas visible beneath his raincoat, his face swollen from crying. Mum, please, she said, her designer makeup running in dark rivers. Owen's sick, really sick this time. I opened the door wider, saw the genuine fear cracking through her calculated facade. Owen's breathing was laboured, wheezing with each inhale. The grandmother in me overrode everything else. "Come in. Just Owen." "Mom, I need... just... Owen." I brought my grandson to the couch, checked his temperature 103 degrees. His inhaler was empty, and the wheeze had the distinctive sound of severe asthma complicated by infection. "How long has he been like this?" "3 days. The insurance..." Tyler let it lapse. "The ER wants $12,000 up front because we've been flagged as non-payment risks." "Mum, I know what we did. But please, he's 8 years old." I looked at Owen, his small chest working too hard for each breath. Then at Lauren, who'd gambled her son's safety on stolen money that was now frozen in federal investigation. "I'll call Dr. Patel at Maine Medical. He'll see Owen tonight." I grabbed my phone, made the call. "Raj, it's Maggie O'Connell. I need a pediatric respiratory emergency admission." "Yes. Now." "Thank you." As I gathered my keys, Lauren collapsed into a chair. "The startup's gone. Tyler's investors pulled out when news of the investigation leaked. Gregory's assets are frozen. We can't even afford groceries. And whose fault is that?" "I know," she sobbed, raw and ugly, nothing like the performed tears from her Facebook posts. "I know what we did. But Owen needs surgery for his deviated septum, that's why the asthma's so bad. $30,000. Insurance won't cover it because Tyler fraudulently claimed it was cosmetic to get a payout last year." I drove them to the hospital in silence, Owen's wheezing the only sound. At 2:30, Dr. Patel confirmed what I'd suspected: severe asthmatic bronchitis requiring immediate intervention, complicated by structural issues needing surgery. "We'll stabilize him tonight," Raj told me quietly. "But he needs that surgery within the month, or we'll be looking at permanent lung damage." Lauren had been excluded from the conversation at my request medical proxy rights I'd maintained for Owen since birth, a detail she'd forgotten in her rush to steal everything else. At 4A, with Owen finally breathing normally on nebulized medication, Lauren found me in the family lounge. "I'll do anything," she said. "Sign anything. Confess to everything. Just help him." "Ava Whitaker's office, 9A, bring Tyler and Gregory." "Gregory won't. Then Owen doesn't get surgery." She aged 10 years in 10 seconds. "I'll get them there." I spent the remaining hours beside Owen's bed, watching his chest rise and fall steadily, remembering when Lauren was 8, hospitalized with pneumonia, how I'd mortgaged everything to pay for her care. The parallel was perfect and poisonous. At 8:45, I sat in Ava's conference room as Lauren, Tyler, and a visibly furious Gregory entered. Tyler looked hollow. His entrepreneurial confidence evaporated. Gregory still carried himself like power personified, but his eyes darted to exits. "Here's the deal," Ava began. "Full confession, videotaped, return of all stolen assets, every penny traceable, cooperation with federal investigators. In exchange, Mrs. O'Connell will ensure Owen receives necessary medical care through the protected trust." "This is extortion," Gregory spat. "No," I said. "Extortion is threatening to have me declared incompetent unless I sign over my money. This is negotiation." Lauren pulled out her phone, showing a photo from 3 hours ago, Owen in his hospital bed, surrounded by machines. "Dad," she said to Gregory, and I realized with sick clarity she meant it not as father-in-law, but something else. "He's your grandson too. Your real grandson." Tyler's head snapped up. "What?" The room froze. Gregory's confident mask slipped, revealing something reptilian beneath. "You didn't know." Lauren turned to Tyler with devastating casualness. "Why did you think your father was so invested in getting Mum's money? Owen's his... from before we were married." The revelation hung like surgical steel in fluorescent light. Tyler lunged at his father, stopped only by Marcus Webb stepping from the corner where he'd been recording everything. "You knew," Tyler screamed at Lauren. "You knew, and you..." "I needed the money for Owen," she said simply. His real father's money, his inheritance. I felt the last thread of maternal connection snap. My daughter hadn't just stolen from me, she'd built her entire marriage on a lie, used her son as currency, turned family into a transaction. "The deal stands?" Ava cut through the chaos. "Full confession, or Owen gets nothing." Gregory laughed, bitter and sharp. "You think I care about..." "Your wife knows," Lauren said quietly. "I sent her the DNA test an hour ago. Your prenup has an infidelity clause. You lose everything in the divorce." The room became a chessboard where everyone's king was in check. "Mum?" Lauren turned to me. No tears now, just cold calculation. "You wanted me to beg, I'm begging. Save Owen. He's the only innocent one here." The negotiation stretched into its third hour, each word measured and weaponized. Ava had transformed the conference room into a legal operating theatre. Court reporters, video cameras, federal investigators connected via secure link. "Let me be clear," Gregory said, his voice steady despite the sweat beading his forehead. "If I sign this confession, I want immunity for the Cayman transfers." "No immunity," the federal prosecutor said through the screen. "But we'll recommend minimum sentencing if you detail Bradley Hutchins's involvement." Tyler sat destroyed in his chair, staring at Lauren like she was a stranger wearing his wife's face. 8 years. Our whole marriage. Every time I held him, called him son. "Focus." Ava interrupted. "Mrs. O'Connell's offer expires at 1 p.m. Full confession and asset return, or Owen's medical trust remains locked." Lauren leaned forward. "Mom, you're really going to leverage your grandson's health?" "You leveraged my love for him to steal $15 million, I replied. "I'm just a better negotiator." "Here's what I need," Lauren said, switching tactics. "Confirmation that Owen gets the surgery within 2 weeks. Full medical coverage through 18. College fund intact." "Already in the trust," Ava confirmed. "Ironclad and irrevocable. But only if we get everything: passwords, account numbers, the names of every banker and lawyer who helped you." Gregory's phone buzzed. His wife's divorce attorney. He declined the call, then looked at me with something almost like respect. "You orchestrated this. The whole evaluation charade, you were never confused." "The only thing that confused me," I said, "was how I raised someone capable of this." Lauren's composure finally cracked. "You want to know how you worked 100-hour weeks? Dad died when I was 15, and you went back to work 3 days after the funeral. You taught me that money was the only reliable thing in life. I taught you that work had meaning, that helping people mattered. You taught me that the person who controls the resources controls everything. I just learned the lesson too well." At 12:30 p.m. With 30 minutes left on Ava's deadline, Gregory began his confession. The details were worse than we'd known. They'd been planning this for 2 years, ever since Tyler's first business failure. Lauren had systematically gathered my passwords, photographed my documents, recorded my voice for potential deepfakes. The cognitive decline narrative was Lauren's idea, Gregory admitted. She researched which symptoms would be most believable, given Maggie's age and stress levels. Tyler finally spoke. I want a paternity test. Official. Already ordered by the court, Ava said. Results in 72 hours. Lauren turned to him. It doesn't matter. You're still Owen's legal father. Nothing about you matters anymore, Tyler said quietly. At 12:58 p.m., they signed every document, every confession, every authorization to return the stolen funds. The federal prosecutor confirmed receipt of Gregory's detailed account of Bradley Hutchins' involvement, enough to arrest him within hours. The money will be returned within 5 business days, Ava announced. The investigation continues, but Mrs. O'Connell has agreed not to pursue additional civil charges if full restitution is made. As they prepared to leave, I stood. Lauren, one more thing. She turned, hope flickering in her eyes. Your access to Owen will be supervised. Court-appointed monitors only. You've proven you'll use him as a weapon, and I won't let you hurt him anymore. You can't. I'm his mother. And you're also a confessed felon who committed elder abuse and fraud. The court will be very interested in your fitness as a parent. Gregory was the first to leave, already on his phone with criminal defense attorneys. Tyler followed, mumbling something about staying with his brother in Boston. Lauren lingered, her hand on the door. I did love you, she said. In whatever way I'm capable of love. That's the problem, I replied. Your version of love comes with a price tag. After they left, I sat with Ava in the empty conference room. The adrenaline crashed, leaving me exhausted and hollow. Owen's surgery is scheduled for Monday, Ava said gently. Dr. Patel confirmed he'll make a full recovery. Good. The trust is completely protected. Even if Lauren tries to challenge it, she can't touch it. Owen will have everything he needs. Except parents who aren't criminals. Ava squeezed my shoulder. You're giving him something better a chance at a life where love isn't transactional. That evening, I visited Owen at the hospital. He was awake, breathing normally, playing a game on his tablet. Grandma Mum said you're helping me get better? Always, sweetheart. Is Mum in trouble? She was crying a lot. I smoothed his hair, choosing my words carefully. Sometimes adults make mistakes, big ones. But no matter what happens, you're safe and loved. Will you still be my grandma? Forever, I promised, meaning it. As he drifted to sleep, I thought about the price of justice not in dollars, but in the currency of broken bonds and poisoned memories. Tomorrow, the news would break. Lauren Pierce, Tyler Pierce, and Gregory Hale arrested for fraud, conspiracy, and elder abuse. But tonight, I sat beside my grandson, guarding his sleep, rebuilding our family from the only salvageable piece. The trap snapped shut at precisely 3:15 p. On a Thursday that would make Maine legal history. I sat in the Harbour Light Trust conference room, the same place where Bradley Hutchins had shown me the fraudulent authorizations 6 weeks earlier. But now, the room bristled with hidden cameras, and federal agents occupied the building's security office. watching every feed. "Thank you for agreeing to this final meeting," Gregory said, flanked by two lawyers who clearly didn't know they were walking into an FBI operation. "We've complied with the restitution order. Now we need to formalize the custody arrangement for Owen." Lauren sat beside him, dressed in conservative grey, playing the reformed mother. Tyler was absent. Our investigation revealed he'd fled to Canada 2 days earlier, abandoning everyone. "I've had time to think," Lauren said, sliding a document across the table. "I want to offer you a deal. Mum, full custody of Owen. But I need something in return." Which is a statement to the court that my actions were influenced by Gregory's coercion. That I was a victim too. The audacity was breathtaking. Even now, she was trying to trade her son for a lighter sentence. "Actually," I said, "I have a different proposal." I nodded to Ava, who opened the door. Special Agent Diana Reeves entered, followed by Marcus Webb and 3 more federal agents. But the real surprise came next. Bradley Hutchins, wearing a wire, his immunity deal contingent on this final performance. "Hello, Gregory," Bradley said, his voice shaking. "They know everything." Gregory's lawyers immediately stood. "We're leaving?" "No," Agent Reeves said. "You're not Gregory Hale. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and violation of the RICO Act." "RICO?" Gregory's face went white. "That's federal racketeering. Your confession implicated 6 other families you've defrauded over the past decade," Reeves explained as she cuffed him. "The O'Connell theft was just the latest. Bradley here kept meticulous records." Lauren jumped up. "I don't know anything about other families." "Sit down, Mrs. Pierce," Reeves said. "We'll get to you." Bradley pulled out his laptop, hands trembling. "Gregory made me keep everything: emails, recordings, even videos of him coaching clients' children on how to access trust funds. He called it his inheritance acceleration program." The screen showed Gregory at his country club, drink in hand, explaining to a room of wealthy members how to redistribute family wealth to the deserving generation. The video was dated 3 years ago, long before Lauren entered the picture. "You recruited my daughter," I said to Gregory. "This was never about Tyler's business failures. You targeted me through her." Gregory's lawyer tried to intervene. "My client invokes his Fifth Amendment rights." "Your client already confessed on video," Ava reminded him. 3 hours of detailed admission. We're past the Fifth Amendment." Agent Reeves turned to Lauren. "Here's where it gets interesting. Your phone records show you were texting Gregory intimate messages 2 years before you claim the affair started. You were planning this together from the beginning." Lauren's carefully constructed mask finally shattered. "That's not I want a lawyer." "You'll need one," Reeves said. "We have a witness." The door opened again. Tyler walked in, very much not in Canada, wearing an FBI vest. "Hello, Lauren," he said. "Surprise." The room exploded. Lauren screamed accusations. Gregory shouted about betrayal. Lawyers demanded to confer with clients. Through it all, Tyler stood calm, protected by federal agents. "I've been cooperating for 3 weeks," Tyler announced. "Since I found out about Owen's paternity, the FBI offered me a deal: full cooperation against Gregory and Lauren in exchange for probation." "You bastard!" Lauren lunged at him, held back by an agent. "You were part of this." "I was," Tyler admitted, "until I learned my whole life was a lie. Then I decided if I was going to prison, You were coming with me. He pulled out his phone, connected it to the room's screen. I recorded everything. Lauren planning which medications to suggest for her mother, to make the cognitive decline seem real. Gregory bribing Dr. Morrison, Lauren practicing her concerned daughter act. The worst video was Lauren in their bedroom, laughing as she described my face when I discovered the theft. She looked so confused. Lauren giggled on the recording, like she couldn't believe her perfect daughter would do this. I stood up, my legs steady despite the earthquake in my chest. I need to say something. The room quieted. Lauren, you asked earlier if I'd provide a statement to the court. I will. I'll tell them exactly what you are, a predator who used her own son as bait, who planned for years to destroy the mother who loved her. I'll tell them about every birthday I celebrated alone while building the fortune you tried to steal, every sacrifice I made that you saw as weakness. I looked at Gregory. And you're going to federal prison with a reputation as someone who preys on the elderly. Let's see how that works out for you. Agent Reeves nodded to her team. Take them. As they dragged Gregory and Lauren out, my daughter turned back one last time. Mum, please, Owen needs me. Owen needs protection from you, I replied. And he's going to get it. The conference room emptied except for Ava, Tyler, and me. Tyler sat down heavily, his FBI vest making him look like a child playing dress-up. For what it's worth, he said, I did love her, or who I thought she was. Get out, I said quietly. You get your deal, you get your freedom, but you don't get forgiveness. He left without another word. The Peninsula family court chamber was packed at 9 a.m. sharp on the day justice became official. Media filled the back rows. The story of a grandmother who turned the tables on her fraudster family had captivated Maine and beyond. Judge Catherine Mills, known for her intolerance of financial predators, reviewed the stack of evidence with surgical precision. Lauren sat at the defendant's table in Orange County jail scrubs, her designer life stripped away. Gregory was absent, already transferred to federal detention pending his RICO trial. Mrs. O'Connell, Judge Mills began, please make your statement. I stood at the plaintiff's podium, my voice clear and steady. Your Honor, I spent 30 years in healthcare, watching families torn apart by medical debt, by addiction, by mental illness. I never imagined I'd stand here, torn apart by greed, wearing the face of love. I turned to Lauren, making eye contact for the last time. You asked me to choose between being a mother and seeking justice, but a real mother protects the innocent. I choose Owen's future over your freedom. I choose his truth over your lies. The evidence is overwhelming, Judge Mills stated. Financial elder abuse, conspiracy, fraud exceeding $10 million, corruption of a minor child's trust. Mrs. Pierce, you systematically destroyed your mother's life for money. Lauren's court-appointed attorney tried one last plea. Your Honor, my client was manipulated by Gregory Hale. Your client? The judge interrupted. Was recorded coaching Mr. Hale on her mother's vulnerabilities? She initiated the relationship specifically to access the O'Connell Trust. The jury was quite clear on who manipulated whom. Judge Mills continued. The court hereby orders full restitution of $14,987,000 to Margaret O'Connell within 30 days. The remaining assets in the Pierce accounts are frozen pending liquidation. She turned to the custody matter. As for the minor child, Owen Pierce, full legal and physical custody, is awarded to Margaret O'Connell. Lauren Pierce is granted supervised visitation only, 2 hours monthly, with a court-appointed monitor. Any attempt to manipulate the child will result in permanent termination of parental rights. No, Lauren screamed. You can't take my son. You used your son as a weapon. Judge Mills replied coldly. The court is disarming you. She continued. Lauren Pierce, you are sentenced to 8 years in federal prison for elder abuse and fraud. Gregory Hale faces 25 years pending his RICO trial. Tyler Pierce has been sentenced to 3 years probation in exchange for his cooperation. The gavel came down with finality. As the bailiffs led Lauren away, she called out, Mum, please, tell Owen I love him. I didn't turn around. Love from her had always been poison disguised as honey. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. I gave them one statement. Elder abuse is the silent epidemic in America. It usually comes from those we trust most. Document everything. Protect yourself. No one else will. 3 hours later, I sat in Owen's hospital room as he recovered from his successful surgery. His breathing was clear for the first time in months. Nora sat beside me, having taken early retirement to help me raise him. Where's Mom? Owen asked groggily. She had to go away for a while, I said carefully. But you're safe with me. And Dad? He's gone too, sweetheart. But you have me, and Aunt Nora, and so many people who love you properly. Dr. Patel entered with Owen's discharge papers. He'll make a full recovery, no permanent damage. As I signed the papers, I thought about damage the kind that doesn't show on X-rays. Owen would grow up knowing his mother chose money over him, that his father wasn't his father, that his grandfather was a predator. But he'd also know his grandmother chose him over everything, fought an army of corruption to keep him safe. That evening, back in my Portland home with Owen sleeping peacefully upstairs, I opened my laptop to check the restored trust accounts. Every penny returned, plus damages. The irrevocable trust for Owen was fully funded through graduate school. An email from Ava waited in my inbox. Gregory Hale found guilty on all counts, 25 to life. Bradley Hutchins got 10 years. The 6 other families he defrauded are getting restitution. You started an avalanche. Maggie. I walked to my window overlooking Casco Bay, watching the lighthouse beam sweep across dark water. In my reflection, I saw a woman transformed, no longer the trusting mother who'd clicked on her daughter's security update link, but someone who'd learned that love without boundaries is just vulnerability waiting to be exploited. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, then saw the preview, Mrs. O'Connell. I'm Sarah Walsh from the Phoenix Support Group for Elder Abuse Survivors. We heard your story. I opened it fully. 23 members wanted to meet, to share their stories, to learn how to fight back. We scheduled our first meeting for next Tuesday. Owen called from upstairs. Grandma, can you read to me? Coming, sweetheart? As I climbed the stairs, I realized this was my true revenge, not the prison sentences or the money returned. But this, a little boy, breathing freely, calling for his grandmother without fear, building a life on truth instead of lies. In his room, Owen had chosen a book about dragons and knights. The knight saves everyone, he said, pointing at the cover. Sometimes, I said, settling beside him, the queen saves herself. And the prince? The prince learns to be good and kind, so he never becomes a dragon. As Owen drifted to sleep, I sat in the darkness, standing guard. I'd chosen justice over blood, truth over family myth. Some would call me cold. But when the choice is between enabling predators or protecting prey, there's only one answer. I chose to become the dragon slayer, even when the dragon shared my DNA. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Please comment below and let's connect. Subscribe to the channel if you want to hear more real-life stories of justice and survival. And share your thoughts. Sometimes the hardest battles are fought in family court, not battlefields.